Hello, and welcome back to the Norfolk Southern Cedartown District in H.O. Still. In this video, we're going to go through a tour of the layout, and I will also briefly talk about some of the recent progress that I have made. Throughout this video, as we go to each different location along the line, I'll pause to include either a prototype picture I have taken or include a screenshot from Google Maps so y'all can see the prototype locations that I'm modeling. We're starting out here in Cedar Town at the small yard. This is a crew change point and the start point for local GO1 that runs from Cedar Town to Carolton and back. We can see GO1 staged here on the main line with a train ready to go south to Carolton. Then we also have some cement hoppers for the Hat D transload and a propane tank for Blossman gas sitting over on the storage track here. Much of the recent progress on the layout has included installing all the scenery landforms. So the way I did this is I made mesh out of cardboard and then overlaid that with contractor's masking paper. I then taped up all the seams and painted it with a nice thick coat of wood glue, which creates a really stiff scenery-based surface. Additionally, I painted the backdrop, installed the fascia and skirting, and placed some mock-up foam core buildings around the layout. We have moved south from Cedar Town now, and we are now at near the Hat D transload, which if I pan over to the left here, we can see has some cement hoppers there waiting to be unloaded into a truck. Continuing farther south, we come to the part of this peninsula which models the Ten Oaks Road in Felton, Georgia, and Blossman Gas in Buckhannon, Georgia. So I pan and zoom over to the right. You can see the curve where Ten Oaks Road crosses the tracks. And zooming back out and panning back over to Blossman Gas, we can see that we've got the one-track siding here, a couple propane unloading racks, and a couple propane tanks. The actual location has, I want to say, either 5 or 6 propane tanks, so I still need to get a few more of those kits and install those here. On the opposite side of the peninsula from Blossman Gas, we come to the next industry on the layout, SLM Recycling, which loads scrap metals into gondolas on the north side of Carolton. Unfortunately, there's not a really good prototype picture of this location from this angle, but it's a fairly simple scene. There will just be, a few piles of scrap metal and a couple excavators here to actually load the metal into the gondolas. Farther off toward the back of the screen there is the tracks start to curve around is where Georgia Highway 16 crosses the tracks. So I'll be modeling that based on Google Street View photos of the actual location. We now come into Carolton proper, where there is a small yard. At the north end of the yard, US Highway 27 crosses under the tracks, which is what I'm modeling here. The tracks cross over the highway on a concrete bridge, and interestingly enough, that bridge still has Central of Georgia lettering on it to this day, so I will be including that. Looking farther to the south, we see where the yard tracks start to expand out a little bit. So there's the main line, 2 through tracks, and then a stub-in spur track here. I've got a mock-up of the Carolton Depot right there. In the foreground here is where Norfolk Southern has their office trailer and various equipment and supplies storage. We're now looking at the Carolton yard from another angle. This time we're looking north. And we can see right in front of the depot there where Bradley Street crosses right through the middle of the yard. So I've taken pictures at this location before, so I'll insert one of those now. Just south of the Carolton yard is Southwire, which is the largest industry I'm modeling on the line. Southwire gets pellet hoppers loaded with plastic pellets and plasticizer in tank cars that they use to make the insulation coating on wire. Just beyond Southwire, the tracks on my layout split. The track in the background serves as a continuous running loop, and it goes back to a staging track that's ultimately located behind Cedar Town that represents Georgia Power's Plant Wansley, where I can run coal and limestone trains in and out of the power plant. The line more in the foreground that goes off the left side of the screen here is the Cedar Town District main line continuing toward Nunan and Sonoya. At Nunan, the next location to the south, we have a runaround track and Nunan transload, which unloads centerbeam flat cars. Here's another view of Nunan transload. Walther's recently released a modern lumberyard kit that has a couple buildings in there that are going to work great for representing the open structures located here. The end of the line is located in Sonoya, which is home to Winpack Industries. Winpack gets pellet hoppers as well and manufactures films that are used in food packaging. Additionally, at Sonoya, there's a runaround track so that G87 can run around their train. As I previously mentioned, trains can split off just south of Southwire to go to the staging area and to Plant Wansley. I have this little beginning of the staging area hidden behind a pair of curtains since it's not going to be scenic or anything. This also contains some of the turnouts for the runaround tracks at the Cedar Town yard in this area. So over behind the curtain there is where the trains pop out through the backdrop. Let's see. Panning over, you can see the tail end of GO1 that's staged at Cedar Town. There's a track behind that goes off behind the backdrop that is the staging track. And then we have the three through tracks at Cedar Town that continue through the backdrop. And if I keep panning to the left here, you'll be able to see the Cedar Town yard again. The final location that may be of interest to some of y'all is my desk area, which is located under Southwire. So here I have the computer that I use to run JMRI, my DCC system, and my Loc programmer. You can see that I've got a regular Digitrax throttle there, but I really prefer to use Wi-Fi throttles through the JMRI Wi-Fi throttle server, so I've got an old cell phone that I typically use for running my trains. Now for the fun part. We'll follow GO1 as it goes around the layout, passing through some of the locations that we previously viewed. GO1 is led today by an Athearn Genesis SD70 Ace that I painted and weathered, and a AC44 C6M that I built from a Kato AC4400 model. that wraps up this update for the Norfolk Southern Cedartown District and HO scale. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to make sure you don't miss out on my next update video, please go ahead and subscribe.